If you thought being overlooked, undersized, and underestimated makes it impossible to go to the NBA, you thought wrong. This is the story of Pierre Jackson. YouTube, what's going on? It's your man Urbanomics, aka Malik, and today we're going to be focusing on the one, the only 5'9" dynamo of a point guard out of Las Vegas, Nevada, the Pierre Jackson. And before we get into this video, I first want to let you guys know that I really appreciate all the love and support. Please let me know down in the comments who you would like me to cover next. And while you're taking the time to like this video, please pause it and go grab a blanket, a pillow, and put on some lullaby tunes because the NBA is straight up sleeping on your boy. I don't understand why they're sleeping on Pierre so much, because when you actually inspect his numbers, they all speak for themselves. Jackson is a soon-to-be 26-year-old bona fide certified hooper. In his earlier years in life, he played for Desert Pines High School in Las Vegas, Nevada for the Jaguars. Now, while playing for the Jags, Pierre played just two games on the junior varsity squad as a freshman before he was immediately snatched up to the varsity team. He would then go on to electrify crowds in Las Vegas for the next 3 to 4 years. After playing a decent freshman year as a varsity athlete, that very next year when he was in the 10th grade, it was discovered that he was academically ineligible and unable to play basketball. Pierre was heartbroken. It's something that he still regrets even to this very day. And because he was so short, only 5'9", a lot of D1 schools were not really giving him a fair shot. They weren't giving him a good chance at playing for them. He was undersized, he was underrated, he was overlooked, he was overshadowed by his peers, and on top of that, he couldn't even play basketball as a sophomore in high school. So things were looking pretty bad for him, but the next year, he got his grades back right and he was able to continue playing basketball, and he continued to electrify the crowds every single night, pouring in points, pouring in assists, an occasional dunk here and there, but it was mostly just jumping really high and doing layups. Nonetheless, he was a great athlete, a very cool kid, and he scored like breathing. It came so easy to him. By the end of his high school career, Jackson was noticed as one of the top basketball talents in the city and one of the leading assist men in the state. Although he had a decent high school career, still there weren't many Division I offers for Pierre. So he had to take the hard route. No, this isn't a fairy tale ending, but it's one that's still being written until this very day, and Pierre is still working hard at achieving his ultimate dream of becoming an established NBA athlete. So because of his academic issues throughout his high school career, he ended up playing for the College of Southern Idaho, which is a junior college for the Golden Eagles. As soon as he got there, he immediately had an impact on the team. He started pouring in the points, averaging 18.4 points a game while sprinkling on a cool 5 assists every night. But that's not all. That same year, the 2010-2011 season, he completely took the lead of the Golden Eagles, establishing himself as a floor general. He earned first-team All-American honors, was named the National Junior College Athletic Association Player of the Year that same season. But wait, there's more. He also led the Golden Eagles to the National Junior College Athletic Association Championship and won it. And won the JUCO Tournament MVP award as well. Like I said, I know, the numbers speak for themselves. Now, it's pretty easy for one to assume that after having a season like that, he wasn't going to stay in junior college for long, so the very next year, he signed a letter of intent to play for the Baylor Bears. So Jackson packed up his bags, moved from Idaho to Waco, Texas, and joined the Sikkim Bears squad. Now, understandably so, his first year at Baylor, his points per game dropped a little bit. He went down to 13.8 points a game, while adding in 6 assists. Although his production in points dropped a little bit, it didn't change his athletic impact on the game, and he still remained as a leader on the court even when he transitioned from junior college to Division I. That very season, his first season with the Baylor Bears, he led them to the Elite 8, while also being named to the All-Big 12 second team. That same season as well, he also earned an honorable mention for the All-American team. That is pretty impressive if you ask me. But his last year at Baylor, Pierre absolutely went off. While still standing at 5'9", this man averaged 20 points per game, upping his average by over 6 points and nearly 8 assists per game. He was also named the Big 12 Preseason Player of the Year, and in the beginning of the season he was put on the watch list as a potential candidate for the John Wooden and the Naismith Award. He finished off his final year with the Baylor Bears with an NIT tournament win over Iowa. After college, what does he do? He immediately begins training, working out with numerous NBA teams, trying in whatever way to increase his draft stock. At the same time though, there was so much hate being thrown in his direction simply because he was undersized. But again, he never let it stop him and continued to work hard. So on draft night in 2013, Pierre Jackson's name was called by the Philadelphia 76ers with the 42nd overall pick. But it seemed like nothing would go in his favor shortly after that. Right when the summer league started, Pierre Jackson suffered from pink eye, missed the first game. After that, his very first game playing with NBA level athletes, he tears his Achilles, benching him for the entire duration of his rookie season. Then he gets carried off the court and makes an entire YouTube series about him coming back from the injury. And it's noticeable that after his injury, he even jumps higher than he did before. When you guys get some time, you should really check it out. It's called Road to Recovery. I'll put the link down in the description. Fast forward to 2017, and Pierre has now taken 2 trips overseas for short stints to play basketball, has led the D-League in points per game 2 years in a row, has been a 2-time NBA D-League All-Star, has played for the 76ers Summer League team, the Detroit Pistons Summer League team, the Portland Trail Blazers Summer League team, and has been consistently the best player on each of those 3 teams. But for some odd reason, they always end up picking someone else. Last season, he was even named the starting point guard for the Dallas Mavericks. In his first NBA start, he started to tear it up right away. In only 12 minutes of play, he'd already had 9 points and 6 assists. But there was a catch. He was only on a 10-day contract. And before he could light it up anymore, he pulled his hamstring, and the duration of that injury would forego his 10-day contract. So the Mavericks cut him and signed Yogi Ferrell, who's also an amazing point guard. Just last month, Pierre lit it up for the Detroit Pistons Summer League team, being obviously the best player out there on the team, dropping 22 points in their championship game and even hitting the game-winning shot. But again, somehow, someway, he didn't end up on their roster. Shortly after that, he announced that he would be going back overseas to play basketball once again. Which is the part that confuses me. I really don't understand why no one picked this guy up. Oh, did I also forget to mention that he once set the record for the single game scoring record in the D-League? This man dropped 58 points in one game, again while standing at 5'9". And when he led the D-League in points per game, he was averaging 30 points a game. Ridiculous. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. NBA, please let this man play. Just let him play. At the end of the day, he's a guy who loves the game of basketball. He works really hard despite being undersized and all the odds being stacked against him. And he's a father. He has a child. He has a family that he wants to take care of. Please let this man play. To do it is play the game he loves. That's it. And it would be awesome if that could be his career, so that his job wouldn't even be like a job. He's clearly good enough. So NBA, please stop playing games with this man. And before I go, just because I have a bit more of a personal connection with this player that the video was about, I will share a few stories. So just like he is, I'm also born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada. I still live here to this very day. This is my home. We also went to the same high school. While he was playing for Desert Pines High School varsity basketball team, I was playing for the Desert Pines High School junior varsity basketball team. I was told by my older brother, if I want to get better, play the best. I decided to meet him in the gym one day and play him one-on-one. It was a very, very grave mistake. Let's just say that. Because he wasn't much taller than me, it was easy for me to forget that, he could jump ridiculously high when I tried to blow by him and do a layup. Every single layup attempt was batted out of the gym. And another thing, maybe he could have been a great professional volleyball player as well. I remember one day when I was in the gym at volleyball practice, he walked into the gym and tried to give spiking a couple balls a shot. But when he jumped and spiked it, it looked like he'd been doing it for years. We tried to get him to play, but as you know, his main focus was basketball. But it looked great. He really looked like a natural at volleyball as well. And one day after basketball practice, I remember distinctly I left one of my notebooks in the gym, which happened to have an extremely corny rap in it. He found it and he read it, and the next day and from then on, my name to him was, quote, Young Spitter. And for all of those who do watch this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, give me a comment on who you want me to cover next, and go to Pierre's Instagram and light up his DMs. Happy birthday, happy birthday. His birthday is actually tomorrow, so give him a happy birthday. Make sure you let him know it's from Urbanomics. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, stay humble.